Hey, what's up, y'all? It is your girl JoJo, and I am here with the review for Ready to Love Season 9, Episode 3. I hope you guys are doing good today. I am doing well. Let's jump into this video. So, the singles are finally meeting each other for the first time, group to group, and everybody's impressed with what they see. So they get to the mixer. Nephew Tyler Perry lets them know that one of the ladies is going to be going home at the end. So mix and mingle. Just to get a few preliminaries out of the way, we've got William opening up about being adopted and how close he is to his 3 sons. We have Jonathan talking about his ex. Now, he keeps saying, well, he doesn't say it, but he's allowing the ladies to keep saying it. So he's talking to Mika and April, and they keep referring to the woman as his baby mama. And I wanted him to come in and say that's actually my ex-wife, because I'm pretty sure Jonathan was married to her. But whatevs. They keep saying his baby mama. They're questioning him, specifically Mika, about their relationship and how long it's been since they broke up and what happened and did he ever circle back. And he admits that he circled back one time, so everybody's just kind of like, okay, about the circle back situation. Dominique is still letting any of the ladies who will listen know about his 2 to 10 children clause. And probably the fireworks at the mixer happened between Lamar and April. They got into a little bit of a tiff about April's line of questions. Now, I will say that I believe that there are certain questions that you just ask at the beginning stages of meeting somebody, just to kind of get a stance of where you both are. I do think that it's okay to ask when the last time somebody was in a relationship. I only think it became an issue with April because April we didn't catch the first half of her and Lamar's conversation, but from the way he made it seem, she was giving her entire resume and then proceeded to quiz him up. I can see how feeling like you're on an interview would be annoying. However, the fact that Lamar went about it the way that he did was an issue for me as well, because you could have just said, look, now, baby girl, I'm trying to get to know you. Let's talk about you. How can I get to know you better? You asked me all these questions. I feel like I'm in a job interview. So initially, when she first started asking questions like, have you ever been married? And how long ago was your last relationship? How long were you in this relationship? Lamar had enough by the time she got to that question. He was just like, I mean, what does it matter? And she was like, well, it matters because I asked. Well, who are you? And then it gets ugly, to which she gets up and leaves the table and says if she has a question, then he should be able to answer it. I wouldn't even sit there and said all of that to him. I would have just left very quickly, because the way he reacted was kind of strange, in my opinion. But do I know that it can be annoying to be on a date and feel like you're at an interview? Sure. April does ask a lot of questions, but the questions aren't strange. Like, they're not weird questions, but maybe at the pace that they come at, maybe because there's no time to really get to know her as a person. It's just a series of rattling off questions. Maybe that's the problem that the people are having. All right. What did you guys think about that scene? We're going to get into some actual dates next. Okay, now we're getting into the meat and potatoes of the season. We're getting to the actual dates, and I can try to start remembering these people's actual names, because the first 2 episodes, I really don't even be caring. So, we got a double date between Jonathan, Alexis, Kiyoshi, KK is what I'm going to call her. It's Koshia and Alonzo. I'm going to get it together, y'all. The only 2 people who fared well in this date to me was probably Jonathan and Alexis. Alonzo and Koshia. I just said it right. Koshia, I'm not really sure. Okay, so this is what happened. When they do like their one-on-ones, first of all, the girls are super competitive for the bowling date. They win, they talking trash, they win, and they want a chicken dance, and they get it from Alonzo. So when they do their break-off and they do one-on-ones, they're talking about love languages. Child, they should have never gave y'all black folk that love language book. That's all y'all talk about on these reality shows. So quality time is Koshia's love language. And Jonathan asks her why. She looks dumb. Like nobody's ever asked her that before. And she's just kind of like, and he just looking at her And he finally says to himself, I don't really think me and Koshia really have a lot in common. I'm just not really feeling anything with her. Now, when he has his one-on-one time with Alexis, he is feeling her a little bit more. They talk about his child and the levels of comfortability they have to have before they move in with a person. They talk about their Sunday fun day or their ideal Sunday fun day, and child of feet come up again. I said, these sexually repressed folks around here, y'all gonna talk about these feet and the toe sucking, whatever. Then when Alonzo meets with Koshia, that doesn't really go well either. And I mostly say it's on Alonzo on this one because Koshia, even though I could tell Alonzo probably isn't like her favorite matchup, I felt like she was trying to come in at least with some sort of kindness. She says that communication is really big for her, and she is going to make sure that you are very clear about what she has to say. And baby, she ain't never lied about that. But Lamar was like, yeah. I mean, I'm big on communication as well. You know what I'm saying? It's not so much about the intent, though. It's about the approach. So, like, for example, let's say you and I were to have a pregnancy scare. What? Where did that even come from? Were y'all talking about that? Did they cut something in the filming? I'm just confused. He said he liked to catch people off guard. I personally thought it was just dumb and childish. And I probably would have been looking at him like, we don't need to discuss that. Why are we discussing a pregnancy scare? Maybe I'm just too serious, but no, that wouldn't have been fun for me either. He say her energy is off. I say he childish, and we move on from there. All right, we got our next group date. It's Lamar, Vanessa, Patrice, and William. So who fared well here? I think William, Vanessa, Patrice, the three of them fared well. Lamar, not so much. So we see Vanessa and William. They both have sons, and she talks about her sons being 16 and 5. What an age gap, girl. You had one that was older, and you started all over again, huh? I know a couple of people like you, girl. But today they're doing something called fluid art. Okay, and it looks pretty cool. I'm not really a creative person, y'all. Creativity kind of stressed me out, especially artwork, because I'm a perfectionist. And if I'm doing bad at it, I start getting frustrated. So I just can't, y'all. It's just not my thing, but I will do it. And not be a spoiled sport. But I really do be thinking to myself, like, this don't look right. Patrice tells Lamar she likes this kind of quality time. And Lamar's like, yeah, I mean, I'm being on quality time too. That's like one of my love languages as well. But I like some touching. That's what my quality time consists of. Oh my gosh, Lamar. He was like, and you can be the canvas. I'm laughing, y'all, but Lamar is very cringy. He's very inappropriate. I know he's trying to come off as funny, but it ain't what everybody want. It's not always a welcome invite for you to be joking around like that. So then he asks Patrice what she values, what are her core values. And she was like, I value a man who seeks God first. That's very important to me. I want you to have a higher power in your life, a higher authority that you surrender to. And that's very important. That's very important, especially when you're dealing with a man. Child, he need to have another being to keep him in line. Other than you. And so Patrice told him that, and Lamar was like, yeah, I like that. I'm down for all of that. I am down for all of that. That sounds good to me. Then he started talking about how he might try to jump her bones. I said, Lamar. And she laughed it off. I don't know if I would have been able to do it. Okay, I might be Miss 200 Kegels, but you're not going to talk to me like that unless I ask you to talk to me like that. Okay, the strong coochie is reserved for a man after God's own heart. You got to go on with all of that. So when Lamar talks to Vanessa, it's more of the same. It don't get sexual, but she asked for advice on how she can open up to the men a little bit more. And he was like, well, you reserved, but you ain't that reserved. That's like somebody telling me you quiet, but I know you a freak. That's the energy he was giving. So he trying to get her to scream and say, yeah. I said, Lamar, please stop this. It's embarrassing. It's making me cringe. And, all in all, no, Lamar is not it for this particular date. Even William and Patrice had a much better conversation, much more down to earth. They had a chance to talk a little bit more since they didn't get to talk too heavy at the mixer like they wanted. So, Another cringe moment was the date between Lon and Patrice. This is another one I was just like, oh my gosh, I want it to be over. So they sit down together. Patrice says she's excited to go on a date with Lon. He's got a cute little baby face, a baby. Big baby, if you will. And they gonna sit down and have some catfish and neck bones. I said, what restaurant y'all at that serve neck bones? Because, honey, don't tempt me with no neck bones, okay? I love it. So anyway, they get to talking, and of course, Lon asks what's important to Patrice, and what I say they should have never gave y'all black folks them doggone love languages. She said that quality time is actually one of her top 3 love languages. I said, you got a top 3, Patrice? Well, all right, you better let them know. And so Lon is glad they get to spend this quality time together. He started talking about this catfish and how good it looked. He just can't stop staring at it. He tearing it up. He asking her if she wants some. He does mention that his idea of quality time is fun. You know, we might go to play some games. You know, I party Wednesday through Sunday. I like to drink. And she was just like, oh, okay. So that's what you do. That's like, he was like, it's not that I like to really be in the streets. It's not like I'm trying not to be in the streets. I'm really just trying to find something that's going to take me out of it. Like, I'm going to leave it when something will take me out of it. I already told you guys last week or the week before last, I don't believe in that. I believe that if you don't have the discipline yourself to stop doing something for you, like because it's just time out for you to be doing it, I don't really think having somebody in your life is going to completely change that. Like, because you still... I don't know if you're doing it necessarily for the right reasons. There's no intrinsic motivation. And I'm always very careful with men who don't have any intrinsic motivation, because I don't want to be your reason. Okay. I don't want to be your 13th reason. Because this can slip into an obsession real quick. I want you to have reasons for doing stuff in your own life. And Lon, just to me, he doesn't seem mature. He needs to be focused on other things like his health, because I think he's only 31. He need to get that weight up off him. He's too young to have that weight up on him like that. He had a whole plate full of fried food, and baby, it looked good. I would have bust down the plate as well. But to be drinking like that and eating like that, Lon, your priorities are not in order. You're not acting like a man that want to be taken off the market. That's all I'm going to say. And I don't think Patrice was feeling it like that. Okay, y'all. So right around this time is where I stopped taking notes. Okay, I'm sorry. So this is all coming off my memory. So April and Jonathan meet up. And Jonathan, you sure do like that yellow, huh? Yellow, mustard. That's your color palette. That's your color scheme. He meets with April because he really didn't have a good chance to talk to her as much as he wanted at the mixer. And April's coming in with questions. See, this is when I did start having a problem with April, because she's coming in to explore even more questions that she had from the mixer that Jonathan had answered. And if she was uncomfortable with them, you know, that would have just let me know that you and I probably weren't going to be a match. I might have still went on the date or whatever for the show's sake, but we probably aren't going to be a match. But she wanted to get more clarification on this baby mama situation and him dipping back. And you said you had a communication issue, and what was that about? So they do talk about that. They also talk about April's last relationship, which she shares freely. She was married. She said she had a lot of insecurities, and those insecurities did manifest themselves in ways where she was very angry a lot of the times, where she overreacted. Maybe she didn't use the word angry, but she said she was very reactive. And she says that her husband was just a man who was not... what was the word? It wasn't sure of himself, that she said, but just really just not the man for her. It wasn't the marriage that she thought it would be. So they spend a little bit of time talking about that. Jonathan says that he would have liked to just kind of have April loosen up and not be so, not really be interrogating him, and them just really getting the chance to talk. And he wasn't really getting that out of her. And so he's feeling like him and April probably are not going to. All right, y'all. And just like that, it's time to go to the lounge with nephew Tyler Perry. He letting the brothers know they got to make a decision about which one of these ladies is going to go home. Now, before I do that, I did want to say there's something that's giving me pause about Jonathan. Don't know what it is, but I got a little feeling about Jonathan. I don't know what it is, okay? But I said, when I feel something about somebody, I'm going to just start mentioning it early instead of sitting on it. I'm telling y'all right now, there's something about them. And I'm going to just leave it at that. I don't know what it is. Okay. So, the gentlemen discussed who their likes, who their dislikes were. That doggone Patrice got it going on. That baby girl got it in the bag. I said, okay. She like this season's Kyra. Y'all remember how everybody was ready to love Kyra? On whatever season she was on. And then another person that got a few likes was probably Vanessa. But Patrice's name definitely came up amongst at least 4 of the guys. So those 2 are definitely going to be safe. Some names in the bottom was April. Some of the men said she was aggressive. I think Lamar specifically used the word aggressive, which I was like, oh, y'all know that is a trigger word for us when somebody uses aggressive in regards to a black woman. Some people just felt like her guard was up, like she was just asking all of these questions. It just felt very impersonal, and it was more than one person who said so. Then another person that was up was Koshia. I keep saying Kiyoshi, like Yoshi. Koshia. She was also one of the dislikes because they just felt like she was kind of like judging them almost. Like it wasn't anything. It's like she doesn't want to go through the process was one of the things that was said. They're not really getting the right vibes out of her. They just not feeling it with Koshia like that. Like she needs to give the process more of a chance, according to the fellas. Somebody said that they liked her and they was like, look, bro, I know you like her and all, but everybody else, we feeling like, nah. I want to say it was LaRon. I'm not really sure. So they have to meet with the 2 ladies to let them know why they are in the bottom. Now, this part was funny. When they meet up with the ladies, y'all, okay, I feel like Koshia knew what it was. Like she knew that she probably had been in the bottom. April, I don't know if you don't watch this show, but it's not good if they call you on a date after elimination, after deliberation time. So April shows up and she sees Lamar and she was like, I think he's ready to apologize for the way he spoke to me. I'm thinking, oh, baby, if only you knew. That is not what is about to happen. Like I said, Koshia, she looked like she was ready for some action. So when, not some action, but you know what I mean? Like she was ready for whatever was going to happen. So she's talking to Alonzo. And I don't know if they cut this part out of the show, you guys. I did not see it. I do not have this in my notes. But Alonzo is trying to tell her, I know we had that difficult situation where you were kind of misunderstanding what I was saying. And she was like, well, if I was misunderstanding what you were saying, then that may have perhaps been an issue if that's what was happening. But in the confines of that, in the text and the language that you were using, anybody would believe that it was a sexual conversation, and I did not want to answer that. And when I did not want to answer that, we should have moved forward on another line of conversation, baby. She was tapping that table like, you better quit playing with me, Alonzo. And what she's talking about is the fact that Alonzo asked her choked or spanked. And then when she got offended, tried to turn around and say, oh, how you know I was talking about sex, or why you making it sexual? Absolutely not, Alonzo. If y'all don't grow up around here, I don't know if I would have turned up on him the way Koshia was about to do, but I really didn't like that, because what other context is choked or spanked gonna be? Like, what are we talking about? Choking on a fish bone? Choking on your choking on your spit? What are you gonna be choking on other than getting choked? Okay, when you put it together with the word spanked, sex is automatically come to mind. What you choking when you got a butt whooping as a child? What are we talking about, Alonzo? So I thought it was childish that he was doing that to her. I wish she would have kept a little bit more of her cool, because he definitely was taking her there. But I already think Koshia don't have a lot of cool. I told y'all last week that all of this femininity she trying to exude, I think she cosplaying. And I think it's going to come out at the opportune time. And according to the previews, it is. She looked like a young Nunu. Y'all remember how Nunu looked in ATL? That's kind of like not a young, an older version of Nunu. Like if Nunu grew up. Anyway, but she ends up being safe. Alonzo tried to take her there again. At the end, he was just like, and at the end of the day, you know, if you took what I was saying wrong, you really could have just asked me. And she was like, take this mic off of me. Take this mic off of me, because I'm not finna sit here and talk to this girl. I said, Coachia, girl, I know how it feels when somebody play in your face. Don't give these men the satisfaction. I'm telling you. And Alonzo just sitting there smirking. I was like, you old scarf wearing. I can't stand no more. It's only one scarf wearer in this relationship. Anyway. So as you know, April ends up being the one that is voted off, and April is just like, well, they might not be ready to love me. Y'all know how people act when they get put off the show, and they just think how y'all just have the audacity. I don't think Lamar was the wrong messenger, but I think it would be worth it for April to, you know, take some heed to the fact that she does kind of come in rapid fire with the questions. They're not bad questions. It's just the way that she does it. She looking you up and down like, what's your synopsis, basically? Like, tell me what you got going on. It feels like a book report. And then Kiyoshi, I'm going to just start calling her that. Koshia say she going to need specific examples of what the fellas is talking about. She didn't get enough feedback from Alonzo, but she's safe this week. April took it all home. You know, she a boss bee, and she going to be all right. These men could not handle her. All right, baby, you going to have to say it from the Uber because you're going home. Let me know what you guys thought about this episode. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see y'all for the next one. Bye.